You know, the house of beautiful business and concrete love, and therefore structural love, is actually within a particular paradigm that many scholars like myself call the healing-centered and restorative paradigm. I know we've held a lot of insight and knowledge throughout the last few days that might be a little bleak. Let me give you a little bit of good news. That deep down, there are many communities that are invested in actually developing more harmony with our planet, a sense of equilibrium with our planet and with each other. I mean, before we go to bars, shouldn't we get it together here? So let me share just a couple of stories of how structural love has become manifest in some communities that I'm part of. I want to invoke my sister Shelly Tigielski. Now, Shelly just wrote a fascinating book called Sit Down to Rise Up. Interesting. Sit Down to Rise Up. And her thesis is that by engaging in deep meditation and deep self-care and actually tending to our own well-being, we can actually make space to make change that is a little bit more sustainable. And during the middle of the pandemic, when many of us were hurting emotionally, many of us were hurting psychologically and financially, Shelly and her team got the idea that how could they connect people who were struggling with their rent, struggling with their bills, with other people who just wanted to give. And through that very simple idea, they started to connect people who wanted to give with moral and financial support with people who needed it. And in a matter of months, they transferred $50 to $60 million, created almost 200 chapters around the world, 17 countries. And to this day, they have even chapters in Portugal and Spain. That is a manifestation of structural love, a love that goes deep, that penetrates the human psyche and structures. So my question to you all is, how can our organizations ooze structural love with our policies, with our practices? How many of you know about design thinking, human-centered design? Wonderful paradigms of design, yet they often leave out equity. And structural love from a design perspective invites us to think about designing for equity, designing for dignity, designing for belonging, designing for renewal. And speaking of renewal, I'll give you an example of a way that I tried to struggle with structural love in my own community. And during Juneteenth, which is a really fascinating holiday, new holiday in the United States, a couple colleagues of mine were asking the question, can we create a project where we would gift others the opportunity to rest, the opportunity to just chill? So we wrote a compelling description. We called it the Restored Warriors Project. And in a matter of a couple weeks, we raised almost $200,000. And when we were ready, we reached out to local activists who were working so hard. And we called them on Zoom, and we said, we want to give you $10,000 unconditionally for you to rest. Can you sense into that? Can you sense into the power that comes with providing someone access to the freedom to rest? So this is the kind of power that can come when we harness structural love.